Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Authentic You Power Talk. We're here today. I am back from my little mini vacay, and I am here tonight to really talk to you guys about staying grounded in busy times and what that looks like. So let's get into this discussion. Because the more we can be empowered to make better choices, we're going to see big things that change in our lives. It's a little bit different than your typical podcast where you have two subject matter experts that are speaking back and forth and you're listening. You actually get to engage in the conversation. It's more like talk radio. So if you have a question, maybe you have an insight, maybe you have a story that you want to share that leans into what the topic is at hand. And many times we have hundreds of people that are listening in this room at one time. And you might think that you're asking a question for yourself, but there is usually many people that are benefiting from the questions that you're asking. So don't be shy. Make sure that you lean in, you engage, because when you do, this is when real shifts start to happen. You actually start to really see how amazing this community is. We're here, we're supporting each other, really to grow on a much deeper level. So tonight we're going to talk about staying grounded in busy times. Life gets busy. Calendars fill up, emails don't stop, and your family needs you, your work's pulling at you, and before you know it, you are running around like a chicken with her head cut off. This is not living. This is so busy that you completely lose yourself. And when you're feeling so scattered, you forget that you matter. And somehow we get lost in it, trying to fill the need for everyone else, trying to be self-sacrificing, telling ourselves that, oh, I'll get to me later. That is the most dangerous place you can be because it starts to go down on a very slippery slope and you keep pushing yourself off. And I really want us to think about that. I'll speak honestly. The reason why I am talking about this today is that many of you know that I was up at the beach with my dear friend and her daughter yesterday and the other day. And this morning I was rushing around and we had to come back, and I had a very important meeting I needed to make it to. And listen to this, guys. It was so important that I had a time crunch on it that I didn't plan enough time, and I actually had to show up in my pajamas. That is not effective. So this is how crazy my day is. And then from there, so I show up in my pajamas. I apologize for my attire, but at least I made it on time. But here's the reality that is real. So I could have missed the very important appointment in order to get myself all spruced up. But then what's the point? So I was like, well, this is my authentic self. I'm going to show up, sign these papers, do what I need to do, and then go. And then what happens is that you end up going on to the next thing. And finally, lucky me, I got to get a shower in there and then get myself back on track. But it really hit home for me to realize, well, something is not right with this equation. If I'm showing up at a really important meeting and I have pajamas on, something didn't work out well today. And I know I'm not the only one who's had a crazy story like this. We all want to show up in a way that we're optimal and we are really with it and grounded and showing up as our best selves. But when we are running around all over the place, it's really hard to do that. So you're only showing up as a fraction of yourself. You're not bringing your best self because you didn't put you into the equation. Or maybe we overscheduled. Sounds like something I did today. So I want you to understand when you can be grounded in the middle of the chaos, because chaos is going to happen. I can't tell you that chaos will not spin around you. It's how you learn how to manage through it. Your groundedness becomes your superpower. So I want you to lean into this visual. A tornado is spinning around and the cows are flying and the tractor's flying and all this stuff is whirling around you. But if you're in the center of it, you're in the eye of the storm. And when you're in the eye of the storm, everything's spinning around you, but you're still very very grounded in how you were showing up. And I think that that's really important. And I want you to ask yourself, are you in that space? Do you do that for yourself? Because I'll tell you, I did not today. And I'm supposed to be knowing what I do. But the fact is, it's real. It happens to all of us. And sometimes we can shift back to trying to do everything for everyone and not really check in with yourself. So I want to say be kind to yourself because it can happen to anyone. But the key is, do you pick yourself up? Do you get yourself back into that grounded space, which I'm doing right now? The realization, this happened this morning. Now I'm already sitting back going, I'm not showing up to any more meetings in pajamas. That vibe was not for me. So I think that I will say that it did inspire tonight's conversation. So let's pivot. So let's talk about what busyness feels like in our body. And the reason why we need to understand this, because when we feel it, I felt it this morning. I could tell I was a little bit shorter than usual. I was tired. I was grumpy. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm running from one thing to the next, not really enjoying much. But now I'm in this space, which I absolutely love. Now I can actually sit back and go, all right, let's reflect on that. So let's think about this, guys. Busyness is not just like, hey, living a schedule. It actually can sit in your body. So I want you to think about this. I want you to think about, maybe you're on, from a work perspective, maybe you're on a Zoom call and then you realize that your shoulders are really tight or your back doesn't feel like you can get comfortable and you're locked into one place. That's the stress. And believe it or not, that is busyness, right? Because it's like that constant need to, you're doing something that is not free flowing at this point. And when you start to feel that, I know I can feel it. I know I have clients that actually feel it in their back, or maybe it could be you're driving the kids to a different practice. Maybe you're going to hockey or dance and you're running around. Or what if you have more than one kid? You're all over the place. And you realize that your jaw is clenched and you're holding onto the steering wheel really tight and you're just really short and you're getting headaches. This happened. I had a headache today because of the chaos that came on. But I want you to be aware, if you are having pain in your shoulders, pain in your back, if your jaw is clenched, you're holding on tight, you're getting frustrated, that means we need to start getting grounded. We got to get you out of that situation. Or even I have clients who I've had to work through, and I've been speaking at conference on a much larger scale about those that answer emails late at night. And they're answering emails and they have the extra stress. They're feeling it in their body. They feel the heaviness in their chest. They can't breathe. They're nervous about the next day coming in. They're nervous about these meetings coming in. And a meeting, it could be a meeting with a friend. It could be a work meeting. The intention here is really for you to understand how to have awareness, because it's not like, oh, my schedule feels overloaded. Your body feels it. Like I had today with my interesting story of showing up with, I think that's a first that I've ever done, showing up at a very important meeting in my pajamas. I actually had headaches the rest of the day. And that to me is interesting because I didn't make the connection, but that is my body telling me, hey, I got to get grounded. I have to release these feelings because it is not working for me. And the more dangerous thing, if you bypass those signals, you really could put yourself into a very unhealthy situation for yourself. You could get sick. You could totally be exhausted. You could disconnect from your life and really not know how to be centered. And I just want you to think about it. Reflect on that today. Do you have that? Have you been bypassing the headaches? Have you been bypassing the tightness in your body and you haven't listened? And you think that because of the narrative that's out there about being so performative and go, 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 and you have to have 50 million things on the go in order to be important. And I've heard this many times. I'm so important because I'm so busy. And you've probably seen people your way where people are like, I'm so busy. I have this. And what they're doing is they wear it as a badge of honor. But the problem is you are causing a lot of dis-ease in your body, believe it or not. And if we don't learn how to catch it and ground it rather than ignore it, we really could be putting ourselves on a path that's not healthy. So remember, when you are feeling these signs, it's not that you're failing. It's actually your body that's calling you back to center in, to be grounded. What are you going to do if you feel like that? Me, I have to get out of nature. I have to put my feet in the grass. I have to just say no and put really hardcore boundaries in place. And I actually did that today. So I think that the awareness is key. So I want you to think about that. If you have been feeling those symptoms, maybe it's time to shift away from this busyness idea and move towards a more balanced approach. Okay, I will pause here. I do have a guest. Oh, I'm going to bring Ron up and see what Ron has to say. Ron is my husband, everyone. He pops on every once in a while. So let's see what Ronnie has to say. We all have different points in our life where we don't even realize that we're on autopilot and we just keep doing it, keep piling more and more on. We have to say stop because it's not good. If you are rushing by people that you love and you're just like, yeah, like, you may not say whatever, but you might be like, then you're missing it. You're actually missing it. Okay, I'm going to bring Ronnie's here. I'm going to bring him up and let's see what Ronnie has to say.
Hello.
How are you? So what are your thoughts, my dear?
Okay. So I don't want to steal the stage, but like I love when I hear things that I can relate to. Mm-hmm. And I just went through this at work, right? And the president of my company come out with me on Tuesday, check out what I do, and kind of nice way. It was like to meet me, but really like there to scorecard you because our business is down. So they want to see what you're doing in your area to make it better. Mm-hmm. And for like a few days prior, I was stressed out. I had a bit of anxiety about what to do, this and that. And then I got to a point where I was like, what are the things that you're good at and what are your roots, and take those and multiply them. And that's what I did. What you call like a mindful minute. I started breathing again and thinking, okay, what do I need to do to be successful? Yeah. And I had to just go back to my basic principles of what I do and why I'm where I am and what I can affect. And once I started doing that, everything became clear. Mm-hmm. And I went through everything and I was like, okay, I know how to do this. I know how to do that. And I did this. And when I did that, and it goes back to your being grounded, it was really, to me, it was more about just going back to my roots and what I know, what I'm good at. Forget about all the garbage that's around me. What do you do good, and what can you show people that you do well? And I was able to do that, which in turn turned into an absolute success for me on Tuesday. And I got growing remarks raving throughout the company where it was like, look at what this guy's doing. Amazing work that he does. And then it brought me to think, because I was listening to your talk, and it brought me to something that I totally forgot about a long time ago. But someone told me this quote, and then I had to look it up, and it's an Aristotelian quote.
Okay.
And the quote was, it doesn't take a million things to succeed at anything, just a few that are infinitely repeated. And it aligns with the principles of building habits for success. And
love that.
You only need a few things. If something works for you, then keep doing it and keep building off that. You don't need to kind of trying to reinvent the wheel. If something works for you, then do it over and over and over again. And it's funny is because I've gone from this to that to the other, and I always wind up back at the same thing is if you do the hard work and you follow plans, then everything's going to turn out okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that works in my business, and I know it works in my life with my kids and my wife. I just think it's little things like that. Like people think they have to conquer everything, but you can affect, and don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about the noise that's on the outside. Just
Mm-hmm.
find, like that quote says, success is built on a few things, and it can be repeated consistently in order to have that.
Mm-hmm. Really great. And I would say this, and I'm not going to bring you back up for it, but it's actually interesting because you leaning into, I see the success. I saw the happy you were when you accomplished those things, and rightfully so. But I also saw the nervousness and the anxiety beforehand. And this is the part where the dynamic of your family space or friend, if it doesn't have to be family, but like environment really makes a big difference. And where are you getting your support during that time frame? Is it looking just zone out? Well, that's probably not going to help you the way that you want to help you, because zoning out is not groundedness. There's a big difference. And what Ronnie was saying, I think it's interesting because he actually said this, and I'm going to laugh a little bit, but he said, and this is how you can listen to the words, going back to your roots totally aligns in the idea of being grounded. Because when we are rooted in, if a true tree is rooted in, it's not going to fly away in the storm, right? It's going to be rooted, and it's going to be very clear as to what it needs, and it's not ill. It might have to flex a little bit, but it's not going to blow away. And I think that when you are grounded in yourself and you're using whatever tactics, and we're going to talk about some tactics in order to get through it, I just know that it's a real thing, that it can help you reset. Keep it simple so you can keep moving forward. And when you do that, that's when you see significant change, I think, because you realize all the rest of it is noise. And if you don't learn to say, like, a gatekeeper for yourself, like, I'm not even going there. I'm not going to have that conversation with you right now because I got to get myself grounded back to roots so I don't have anxiety about X, Y, and Z. And then you can start to reset as to what works for you. That's a very different approach, rather letting the storm blow you all over the place in comparison to being rooted in and grounded into certain strategies. Families matter, or friends, your support systems matter. If you are around people that are only as chaotic and busy as you, that's really hard to have that extra grounding space. It actually can, even worse for you. And I think the more that we have personal awareness, we can ground ourselves, but then we also can understand what it looks like to support and help others ground in our circles. Okay. Thank you so much, Ronnie, for coming up. And I'm going to bring Stephen Tanner up, and let's see what he has to say. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
I'm doing well this week.
You were sick last week, poor guy.
Yeah, I got over that. It's still, let's just say there's stuff coming out of me when I cough. We'll leave it there.
Oh, poor guy.
Well, I'm surviving and I'm thriving a little bit. So this will give you some examples of the busyness, and all this is prior to my healing journey starting. So this is prior to 2016.
Okay.
And this is not me. This is what I lived with.
This is okay.
Gosh, I was so busy this morning. I didn't have time to even go to the bathroom. I was at my desk the whole time. So I'm kind of like, all right, whatever. You're making that choice. You're just doing it for you. And I guess you need to be busy. And I heard this a while back. Busyness is your drug, as in your coping numbing technique.
Yeah.
Will feel like stress. You can't make yourself stop because you're incapable of doing it. There's something in your brain telling you, I gotta, or whatever. And
That's a good one.
truck driver doesn't have enough psychology classes to fix that. He can tell you where to go, but he can't fix that. Either he had a circle of girlfriends that she drank wine with or did something like that. Couldn't fix it either, but they could probably help medicate it. But because in the end, it was you have to have people around you. I can't fulfill everything as the male in the house. That's not my job, is to take care of, okay, I'm going to be your psychologist. I'm going to be your talk therapy person. I'm going to be person to sit in a corner with and cry with. I can't be all those people. And so there was a point where I just felt like, good grief, I fail at a lot of stuff. And then you get past it and you start realizing, my stuff anyway. Why were you feeling guilty about it? Or the fact that you couldn't measure up about it? And I'm like, I wasn't doing that.
It's unrealistic, right? The expectation, it's completely unrealistic. And we live in a society that perpetuates that if you don't do those things, you're not successful. It's just garbage. And we have to really start having that awareness, because even in your case, you have shifted and you can see that now. But at that time, you didn't think that you were good enough because you couldn't do those things, but they were never yours to do.
Yeah. I don't know how to. I mean, I just felt isolated that time. I go to work and whatever was on the radio and in the newspaper, I didn't even know where to go for help to figure out what was going on with me trying to deal with her.
And you know what, Stephen, I really appreciate you bringing that up, because I think that you're not alone, right? You have shifted, you've done all this work, and you're super aware of all, like we say that hindsight's 2020. But words for someone who might be in it right now, who might be feeling a little bit stuck and thinking like, why can't I do it all? Why can't I hold all of it? Everybody makes it look like it's so easy, or that's a part of the expectation of who I'm supposed to be. And if I can't do that, then that means I'm failing. And guess where that goes? That goes right into the bucket of I'm not enough. And that goes into self-worth. And then you secretly pretend that there isn't anything wrong, but you're really suffering in silence. And we don't want that. And I think that's why this conversation is really important. Like, totally, I have like no issues with sharing the stories. My perspective, just I share it from an object lesson, because it's can happen to any of us, and it can happen at any time. You need to know you're kind of against the river. And I say this because everything around us is telling you that you have to do more, go quicker, be this person. And the expectation is heavy. And we wonder why people are suffering. They don't know how to ground themselves. And they don't know that, hey, this is completely unrealistic for anyone. You could be Superman or Superwoman. You can't do that. You're not supposed to be all these different people, or Uber driver and therapist, and you go on and on and on. Eventually, it's going to catch up with you. And tonight, that's why we need to talk about it, because I know that there's people out there that are like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I'm running. I felt it today, running, and where am I going with this? Now, the part that is a little bit interesting to me is that the I am so busy piece, where people wear it as a badge of honor. And if it is so dangerous to me, with the version of myself 5 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, I'm so busy too. And I'm so important. And look at, I'm doing this and this. That means I am successful. But it's not true, because you're really in this situation saying, I'm so busy. I need you to see this on the outside, that I'm so busy. I'm so important, so you don't look at me on the inside, that I'm screaming, I'm struggling, I'm burning out, and I don't know what to do. So I want us to think about it as we get into tonight's conversation about what are your grounding tactics. We're going to go into a little bit more. I have some other guests I'm going to bring up, but I think we need to have the conversation. Even have it with yourself and be like, hey, am I good at this, or am I lying to myself? Or am I wearing the badge of honor of I'm so busy, I'm so important? I kind of now I'm like, well, I feel sorry for you, because obviously you are wearing this, to me, it's all a mask. It's not real. And eventually no one can hold it all. And it's going to catch up with you, and it catches up in many different ways. So thank you again, Stephen, for your share. I really appreciate it. And now I have Robin coming up, and let's see what Robin has to say. Hey, Robin, how's it going?
So I'm packing.
Oh, you're packing right now for your house.
Yes,
Yeah.
something fell through with the HOA, and this is me today trying to stay grounded, juggling all kinds of things because I was listening to your husband talk, and I thought to myself, me in my second interview, all of a sudden stopped for a minute, and I was like, oh, they're asking me this question, and I stopped for a minute with a slight bit of panic, and then I realized, wait a minute. I know this stuff. I know what I do and what I can do. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I bring to the table. So that's where I stopped, and I was like, yeah. I was able to reground myself there and like that breath and say, you know what? I stop, Robin. You stop. And then I started talking, and I'm like, who is this person? Because it's actually been a while since I've about myself. I don't want to say try to sell myself, but you do. We get up there and you say, this is what I've done, these accomplishments, this is what I can do, this is what I won't do. How about that? Yeah. Basically, I was able to reground there. But today was the anyway. Monday they called me and offered me the position, so I'm now.
Whoa, wait, stop
Yeah,
the bus. We're not going forward here. Wait a minute.
I know we haven't had a chance to speak, and I
Oh
didn't
my
know if you had heard
God.
on anyone else's podcast, but yeah.
What?
Yep.
Say it again. Say it out loud.
I am the new brain health navigator with the neuroscience department and admin
Woo!
health. Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
me.
gosh, guys, give Robin some love. Oh my
That's
goodness,
me.
it's your journey. I'm so happy for you. Do you
And I'm,
see?
yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yep.
fantastic. How do you feel?
I feel fantastic. I
Oh,
feel
I'm so
accomplished. I
happy.
feel I can see myself doing this. I'm very excited. I started on September 15th.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so really, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm joining a fantastic team. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm good to talk to them. And I think they were happy that I had talked to three different doctors too, and they came in, they grilled me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I had, and I said, this is my thought about these kinds of things, and they were
Oh,
like, wow, okay, yeah, see, there,
well, they are so lucky to have you. And
Oh, thank you.
I'm more forget about, well, we won't forget about the job. Okay. The job is like that. I believe the universe, the gift, it all came into play. But
Yeah.
I really am, because I know it's been a tough go and you
Mhm.
kept going.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I just want you to sit in it. Like, how does that feel? Like, you should be so proud of yourself.
I proud of the fact that I had the guts and the strength to decline that other job, knowing that it wasn't really going to suit with, because they offered me the
Yeah.
hospice admissions job. And I just said to myself, you know what? I'd be true to myself. I took your advice, and, income, Robin,
Yeah.
be what you want.
Yeah.
But, you want or better,
Yeah.
and it's better and what I want. So
Oh, I love
yes,
it.
yeah, so excited to tell everybody here on Noon Vibe, and
Oh my
because everyone
goodness.
has been my huge support, and I have
Yeah.
had tremendous.
Ah,
And I that so that helped get the um rental of the house
oh yeah.
squared. They approved that because obviously I'm, getting that approved. So but today what I was juggling is, so they send this bunch of information. Oh, by the way, there is a homeowners. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I read it because I always
Yeah.
look to see, paying the homeowners fee,
Yeah.
no, if not. So they sent this whole thing, and I'm looking at it, and it's all the rules and regulations. You know how
Yeah. Yeah.
associations
Yeah.
are. Well,
Yeah.
this one, at the end of it was an application that you had to fill out to get approval, and it gonna take 15 days or
Oh my
more.
God.
I said,
Oh
this
man.
can't be happening. No, can't happen.
But but you got it. Like, I bet you have really stepped into new space and new energy. And it doesn't matter if it's 15 pages, 20 pages, 2 pages. You got it. like you have shown up for yourself, Robin, and you should be extremely proud. And it's like, yeah, it's pages, but don't worry about it. Just keep at it and it's going to work itself out. And then I really want to hear about this new place that you're going to end up living. Because remember, changing your living location, but I truly believe that sometimes the steps in and you're meant to change. So the fact that you have a new job, you're changing where you live, there's new dynamics, it's like completely new energy that's coming into place for you. And I am ecstatic. Like that really made my day. So yeah, I think that when you were talking about your growth of taking a breath, I was going to talk about that a little bit later today, but always, like, no matter where you are and how chaotic it can be, first thing that you want to do, take a breath. When we take a breath, it brings us right back to the present. And take a beautiful deep breath and do maybe multiple times. And when you do that, then it really, really, you see things. Because when we're in that short, shallow breath, that's just getting you more active and more worked up. So the deep through the nose, out through the mouth, and you're filling the diaphragm. It's like a game changer. Doesn't cost you anything. Just do it. So amazing. Thanks so much, Robin, and really appreciate your share. And I'm rooting for you. And I know everybody here in the community is too. So that's awesome. All right, I'm going to bring Lois up and see what Lois has to say. Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm finishing moving my stuff out of my house, getting ready to sign the papers tomorrow or Friday, and hey, it's all good. I'm
Well,
tired.
that's really weird because I signed papers.
Did
We
you?
sold it. Yeah, I showed up in my pajamas. I signed papers. We sold a property today. So it sounds like the energies are changing. People are changing where they live. There's
Okay,
a lot of
wait.
shifts and changes going on. I was driving from a little beach mini vacation and driving in, and I had to get to the lawyers early, and I didn't have enough time, and I actually showed up there in my pajamas.
Oh, wow.
Because and
If I grounded.
right, I was like, okay, we got ourselves grounded. This is crazy. So now it's like, but I'm like leaning it and deeper discussion about it, which is important. But I think it's interesting that you're signing housing papers tomorrow, and then Robin just talked about signing
Yeah,
like
I'll be free tomorrow. I'll
great,
be free at last, free
amazing.
at last. Thank you, girl, because
Yes.
this situation has been ongoing since last year when my house got flooded. So for
Oh.
it to come into a head and be done, and I'm beginning my new journeys, and staying grounded is very important throughout this process because all of this happened for me like a whirlwind, and it started 3 weeks ago when
Mhm.
my sister called me and asked me if I wanted to go to Hawaii, just buy me a ticket. And I was like, I'm waiting on the house. Da, da, da. I said, you know what? I'm gonna sell. I'm gonna go ahead and buy the ticket and come to Hawaii, and maybe I buy spend the money on a plane ticket to go to Hawaii. So an hour and
Oh,
a half
amazing.
later, the house was a good omen, okay. And
Yeah.
so that made it. They said they wanted to close the following week, but the following week I was in Hawaii, so I've had
Oh,
to pack up before I left, come back, rest one day, and I just finished packing up the house and getting it all cleared out, and now I'm just waiting on the realtor to give me the to see what time we're meeting tomorrow or Friday to sign the papers and be done. Okay, and yes, staying grounded throughout this process has
yeah.
helped me tremendously, making sure that, and because I have a protocol for everything. That's what my daughter calls it. You have a protocol for everything. For me, staying grounded, I start my day getting up with thanks and doing a body
Mm-hmm.
scan.
It's
Okay, after
great.
I do that and go to the bathroom, I speak to myself in the mirror as I wash my face and brush my teeth. I
It's
speak into
great.
myself how beautiful my day, a wonderful, wonder-filled day. And it was a
Yeah.
lot of wonders in this day. Trying to get everything done and having the movers go from one house to the other house to the storage. It's been busy. And so each time I get a little breath, I'll sit in the car because it's really hot still here in Vegas, and I'll go out and pull myself back down so that I can keep going. Because honestly, my mind says we got to get it done, but my body is saying sit your okay. I kind of vacation from the vacation, but because
Yeah.
I'm doing my grounding techniques and I'm doing my protocols, that when I have my busy days like this, are busy. Well, it's been a busy 3 or 4 days just now. Okay.
Yeah.
The whole thing is when I get like this, for me, having that thing where I can sit and ground myself, even in the midst of all the people moving the furniture and yelling and stuff, I'll go and take me a quiet little walk
Yeah.
up the street and walk back if it starts to feel overwhelming or anxiety. So I don't have anxiety. Like, aren't you anxious about moving out of your house? You've been there for 4 years. I'm like, you know what? I said, it's not anxiety. Yeah, I have feelings, but I think it's excitement for my new journey
Yeah.
that's getting ready to start.
Congratulations. I'm really looking forward to hear about all these adventures, and I'm waiting for you to come to Canada. So just give it time. But I honestly, I think that it gave a lot of great examples. We'll go over them quickly. But I will say this, that a lot of things are coming at you all at once. The capability to know what tools work for you in order for you to get perspective. I really appreciate that. And I will go over some very briefly. So now I'm going to bring Truth up and let's see what she has to say. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Kristina. Good.
How good. Very good. So what are your thoughts?
So I used to wear that I'm so busy, I'm so important badge just in every way possible. It was like a light, just like neon light above my head. And all of my energy said that to people.
Yeah.
Like what is this? I don't really have time for this. All of my stuff is so much more important. And I'm so grateful that that is not the life that I live today.
Same.
And I enjoy not being busy, and I didn't know that that was possible. But I also didn't enjoy sitting silently with myself.
Good point. Yeah.
And that's like one of my favorite things to do. I love being alone.
Yeah.
I didn't even like live alone for the first time until I was in my early 40s because it was just like such a scary thought to like be alone. I always had to have roommates, and now I'm like, oh, I love me. I love being with myself. I'd rather be with me than pretty much anybody else.
So good.
Yeah, but I do still get busy. Like right now, the year kind of flows for me, and summertime is really busy. I just came out of that busy summer. And I learned a lot of lessons of how to keep myself grounded during it. And I think that's another piece that gets like really, if there's anybody out there that travels, that it took me like 3 years to really like figure out how to still do it while I'm on the road.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So for me, what I've found is like, I have all these bookshelves of all of my like inspirational and things like that. When I go on a trip, I make sure I have at least one with me. I have like at lunch Sharon's book or Deepak Chopra book or a Ruiz book, something that's like super meaningful. And even if I only read a half a page, it still grounds me. So like no matter how busy I am, sometimes it's just like a sentence. Just open it up to where it is, and there's some nugget that I can pull out of it.
Love that.
Yeah, so one of them. I also travel with a few crystals. Always have my crystals with me. I try to set my workspace up with some of them. And when it gets really stressful, even just looking at them can ground me. But then like holding on to one grounds me even more. I'm very like tactile, I like touch. So like this or the roughness or the coldness or like whatever it is. Just sense brings me into it.
Well, I have mine in my purse. Like I have it with me. I knowing that it's there. It helps.
Yeah, same. I went out to lunch without like my that are all crystals, and it's like I was like, why am I feeling so anxious? And I'm like, oh yeah, because those are grounding for me, like this, and then like the way that I play with them, and just like all those pieces. And I was like, okay, well, won't redo that again.
Right. You're like, I might like. It's different for everyone, but I use bracelets. I have crystals around in different places intentionally because it does help me get me back in.
Yeah, totally. Also travel with like bottles of essential oils, like for lavender and rosemary, or those smells that just like if they're not okay, they can just like really calm my nervous system pretty quickly. Keeping those around. And I always travel with a deck of cards. Like lately, been like crystal oracle cards. I just picked up a new deck that I'm super excited about.
Oh, what deck?
It's called Hack Your Nervous System.
Oh, okay. I got to take a look and see. Oh,
yeah, it's not like pulling cards typically is, but it's like 3 levels of just like, and then like when they're a little stressful, and then when there's like acute anxiety. And so it's like what's in, you can just like pull a random one, and it's all techniques that we all know. It's just right there.
Oh my goodness, Truth. Thank you for your shares. I think that I really love them because you gave really practical examples. I love the idea of the essential oils. I do use that as well. I also like candles because I love the fragrance, but again, I don't know if it's the flame. It just be grounded. So it's little practices like that. Even the idea of at the beach and having my feet in the sand or listening. I was at a lighthouse listening to the crash of the waves, and there's something about myself and is very clearing. I feel like it just clears the energy, right? So the sand does the grounding for me, and then the water clears it away, like with the wind, and it just like clears debris. So the bringing this up, it's beauty in this because practices can change for everybody. It's not one and done. So you'll your own. So I do high level things, but what I loved that Truth did, and even Lois, like actually all my guests that came up tonight, everybody has their own little way of doing it for themselves. But the fact that you have your own little way of doing it is so great. And if you don't, just keep it basic right now. Keep it simple and know that you can get better at it. It's like a muscle. You keep building off of it. So we talked about breath, and pulling that in however you can possibly do that. Maybe it's like before you go for a walk, into a busy meeting, or making sure that you're off your phone. Take a deep breath and time with yourself and be present. That's really important. And also, I want you to think about the idea that you are choosing you, not perfection. You don't need to fix more. You don't need to fix everyone. You don't need to do more. You just need to be here right now. Keep it simple. And I really love what you said around you didn't know how to be. And that's really the state of being. I didn't know how to be either. And it was when it was very uncomfortable for me to be, because I was that poster girl of I'm important, so busy, corporate, America, doing all this stuff. But I loved it. But that was because it was masking another place. When you actually lean into yourself and you learn how to be grounded and learn how to be, just be, it is the most beautiful experience ever. You will connect with yourself on a much deeper level. You will have different insights. So it's the difference from yesterday's conversation of loneliness. Like the reason I think a lot of people don't want to be because they don't, one, know how to do it, and two, they think that they're going to be lonely or bored. No, it actually is the most beautiful place because where real inspiration comes from, that can turn into many different projects, many different things that bring joy into your life. It's just that we have been really set up in a way to believe that we have to be highly performative, productive in order to be productive. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but technically you have to be first, then you do. So you be, do, and then you actually start moving into a new place. And we can go into that conversation another time, but I want you to understand that there's beauty in it. And you're not looking at perfection. It's not about, fix it. It's just like, hey, can I just be with you? Can I sit with you? Can I, remember I was talking about the bonfire, sitting there, and we were being with each other. There was no distractions. We were just engaging in a conversation, no multitasking. We were really listening. And when you do that, there's just a different sense, your different sensory goes off, and it helps you ground. What do you see? What do you feel? What are you engaging in? It's not the rushing of the busyness. The other part I would say is really prioritizing what matters. A lot of those things that you have on your plate don't even matter. And if you only accomplish 3 things today, just pick the ones that matter without having all the extra pressure. Maybe it's letting that one project go and tackling it when you can. To really think about what's nourishing your body, nourishing your soul, nourishing your overall well-being. And that could be food, rest, noise. This is all grounding stuff, guys. And also, I would say the stillness. Lois said that in the busyness, she'll go for a walk. She'll find stillness. When I was like in America, I would go for a coffee in the middle of the day by myself because that was the way that I would ground before I would go back in. Sounds silly, right? Just going for a coffee, but that's still a grounding mechanism. That's a way to do that for yourself. So whatever it is for you, get creative, but know that it's necessary. Because if you don't, you just be going on this spiral into not really taking care of yourself. And we don't want that. We want you to be extremely powered and move into new space. So I just want to say this. Thank you to all my guests that came up tonight. That it was like, what great shares. Amazing tonight. And, didn't catch it at the beginning. I suggested you go catch it later. There's all these different insights that this is the beauty of this space, because it all layers on and you'll walk away with like real tips that are going to help you. So you're not in chaos. You'll know how to be in the calm, the eye of the storm, not the storm, be the eye of the storm. So you can actually make better decisions in your life and really engage in life. You are rooted. You are steady. You choose presence over pressure. You are the calm in the storm. All right, you beautiful souls. Thanks so much for spending time with me tonight. Have a great night. Bye.